we don't really pay attention
The
to
small steps, we just need to be conscious, I think, and be responsible. We
Yeah.
are aware of what is right and what is wrong, but we just don't take those steps consciously.
Yeah.
Correct?
There also, I say many times that one problem we have, especially in our country, is that we all feel that I can do mistakes, but all people around me should follow the rule. Like मैं थोड़ा बहुत कचरा इधर उधर फेंक दूं, but बाकी सारे लोग follow करें. Unfortunately, everybody thinks like that. That we think that I can break the traffic rule, but others should follow the traffic. So that tendency is there in us, unfortunate part,
Yes.
that we don't take a responsibility and ownership of our own action. That's where I say that this is what all patriotism is, not just waving the tricolor on a 15th August.
Agree with you, sir, on this. I totally agree with you. But sir, how can the new generation, take steps, or the new generation companies do to curb waste?
So there is nowadays they have kind of already started working on it. Even if you go now in the electronic industry too, if you look at many of these laptops or desktops, they're becoming much lighter. So people are using less and less material. So
Right.
one thing is, of course, see, there are few ways you can do it. Number one is you try to reduce, be efficient use of material.
Right.
Use less material to make products with a similar performance. Of course, you
Right.
will have less weight. Other thing is that make the product which is easy to repair.
Correct.
There is also in Western European countries, and some of the researchers in MIT and other universities, they're working on like a modular laptop.
Okay.
So see, for example, if you look at your laptop that we have, even when we buy a newer laptop after 2-3 years, most of the things in my old laptop and the new laptop is more or less same. It is just a few processes have changed. So people are looking at, rather than buying the entire laptop again, can I just change that particular part? So if
Can
it's
I
a
repair?
modular design, repair and upgrade as well.
Correct.
So can I take just only that particular module which got updated and put that module, and then the rest of the computer stays the same? And so and of course that will mean different kind of business model.
Right.
That means less production means less GDP. Less GDP means less manpower, less jobs. So that is also so there is but we can create a lot of but we can create a lot of green jobs in terms of doing the resource recovery from all these waste that we talked about: electronic waste, mining waste, food waste. From all these waste, if we can do all the resource recovery, lots and lots of jobs can be created there as well. So we have to think maybe our business model needs to change, and it will change in a couple of decades from now. Things will change. You will see that things will change, and companies are already moving to that sector, like Samsung, Philips, and all those big companies are funding big research projects in Netherlands and other countries to work in this particular area.
True.
So it is already happening.
We need to adapt with the current trends in the environmental space, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Which needs more attention. Yeah. So, but what? Sorry,
go ahead.
you were saying something?
Oh, go ahead. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. No, I was asking, what are the environmental issues when we talk about? What will require the most attention in the next 10 years?
See, right now we are seeing of course we call it climate change as a big umbrella.
Correct.
But climate change means that it is a combination of a lot of different factors. We are talking about waste today. So if we can manage waste properly, that also helps in reducing the impact of climate change. It will actually reduce the changing climate. Like global warming, greenhouse gases will be emitted, so that will reduce climate change impact. So all these, like waste management, water, proper use of water, because without water you cannot do anything.
Correct.
So even a simple industry cannot be set up if we don't have good quality water. So water, reuse of water, from wastewater, try to reuse it back like they do it in Singapore, because Singapore, they have to do it. They don't have any other option. I hope maybe the rest of the world is also going to that route as well. We will have to take the resource from our wastewater as well. So all those different factors needs to, and you will see those things happening. Already people are working.
And yet we all create waste. As a country develops, they say that its waste generation increases. The waste problem is so monumental that experts believe that we are all part of what is referred as the waste culture. And were we better off like 2-3 decades back, as you mentioned before, about we were much better off before. But again, I would like to ask here that were we better 2-3 decades back? The culture of discarding has flipped.
Yeah, see, the lifestyle has changed over, and then many things is beyond. We do say, like as I said earlier, that 2-3 decades ago, some of those things were better, but they were better because the way we were in quite a sparse population, we were in smaller villages or semi-urban towns. We had a space to do all those backyard composting, and then we didn't had packaging at that particular time, no online shopping, but these things will come as the society will evolve. We can keep on complaining that now we are bad than what we are a few decades back, but this is part of life. You cannot really avoid it. Say, when people say that today can we live without plastic, the answer is actually no, unless we get a material which is very similar to plastic, does all the job that the plastic does, and also at similar price.
Correct.
Then only we can replace plastic. Otherwise, you cannot replace. You look at your packaging in terms of even as simple as sugar and salt. Sugar and salt, when I was a very little kid, I would go to a local kirana store and it will be in a jute bag, and they will give it in the jute bag and will bring it home. But during this monsoon season, rainy season, that sugar will become all clumpy, the salt will become all clumpy.
Yes.
Today, I don't think anybody will buy that. Like whether our kids will use that sugar, they will say, this looks very
yes.
That's how it is.
This has happened. This has happened actually. So at my place, we have grocery for we store grocery for a month, right? And during monsoon, the sugar got a bit moist.
Yeah.
And my children were like, Mama, what kind of sugar is this? Itna chipchipa kyun hai? Aisa kyun hai? So why are you using it? Please bring a new one. I said, no, that's not going to happen. So this is what we are going to use.
Yes. So this, and then see it's not only but if you look at the quality of the product also does go down. We can complain about plastics, but plastic as a packaging has actually helped increase the shelf life of many of these products too. Correct. So it helps in reducing food waste. It helps in even reducing mileage of our car. Right. If you say increases the mileage of our car, it reduces the fuel consumption because cars are becoming lighter because of the use of plastic. A lighter car means better fuel. You have a better fuel mileage. So plastic has done a lot of good things too. So that's why I'm saying that these things, as the society will evolve, we will have these kind of problem. But as you said that as GDP goes up, the waste production goes up. That's correct. You can take the example of any countries from Western Europe, North America, even India. You will see it going up. But at the same time, you will also see that as the GDP goes up, we have more and more money now to do the things properly in terms of waste management. Okay. In terms of moving from waste management to resource management. When we don't, if we are worried about putting food on the table of the poor people of the country, that time waste management is not our priority. As our country becomes richer, as our becomes GDP per capita goes up, then in that case we will have the country as a whole will have disposable income to focus on these sectors and focus on Swachh Bharat mission, Clean India mission and all that. Can we have done this Clean India mission, Swachh Bharat mission say in 70s and 80s? Probably no. We didn't have money at that time. At that time the focus of the governments, whichever government was there, was to actually make sure that ration dukans, ration shops have those rice and wheat and others, so that people should not go hungry. Number one is there should not be hunger in the country. That's of course priority of any government anywhere in the world. So once you have done that part, then you look at these other aspects where you try to have proper waste management, proper all those traffic and all those things comes in picture. So we will have and with the initiatives in last several years now, or as part of Swachh Bharat mission and all that we are doing, things are getting better. I'm always an optimistic person. Glass is always half full for me. So we will get there. The thing is that we have to do those small things in terms of making sure we do proper capacity building. We have proper trucks with ULB. Those things has to go and proper like making it accessible, as we talked earlier, making it accessible for people to behave responsibly, and then of course have that carrot and stick as well to make sure that people behave responsibly.
Correct.
So it's a combination of all those factors has to be there.
Correct. But sir, what do you think is the biggest challenge in waste management sector?
Biggest challenge, I would say, which kind of we alluded to earlier as well, is having the lack of source segregation of waste.
Okay.
We are not either, people are not doing it at home, or even if people are doing it at home, it is getting mixed up along while the waste is traveling from our home to the disposal or treatment center. So that without having proper source segregation, no technology, nothing is going to work actually.
No.
So number one priority for every ULBs or municipalities and everything, I keep on saying that again. If you ask me three things to do, I'll say source segregation. Let's get that thing. Let's get these fixed first. Because once you have sorted out garbage, where you keep your organic fraction separate and recyclable separate, there are technologies out there.
Right.
Another thing, we always try to go for newer technology. Actually, we have ample technology available in the country itself. In India, we have all the technologies are available for composting, biomethanation, and all those. Right. Of course, some technologies may need to be imported from overseas, or we can develop out of our own in coming decades or years. But rather than going for some fancy technology, I would rather focus on simple technology, workable technology, which gives me result. Again, if I give you an example of sewage treatment plants, like as part of that Clean Ganga mission and all those national mission for Clean Ganga or other projects too, we are making several sewage treatment plants, and many of those after some time becomes non-functional. The reason is that we go for state-of-the-art technology.
Correct.
So some of these foreign vendors, they come and they sell some of the technology, like so-called state-of-art technology, highly complicated stuff. We don't have engineers in India who understands that. We don't have spare parts of those equipment that is being installed. Now, if the spare part goes bad, I have to wait to get it from Europe.
Right.
So my plant doesn't work. And if the plant doesn't work for a few months, then the plant, the quality of the overall plant deteriorates. Now what happens? You are discharging untreated sewage in our rivers and lakes and the water bodies because your plant is not working. Rather, I would have a simple technology. This so-called state of start maybe giving us 90% recovery. Correct. But if the simple technology, even if it gives me 70-75% recovery, I would rather start with that, and gradually I will take it from 70-75 to 90-95.
Absolutely.
Because everybody has to learn. There is a knowledge curve. Like there is a time it takes to learn this stuff. So I want my engineers and technicians to really good in getting those technologies, so that they don't have to depend on small things to foreign. We should have those parts made in India.
Absolutely.
So then only it will work. Otherwise, it's very difficult.
So what do you think requires more attention now to reach the ESG goals? Do you think the policies in waste disposal and EPR are going to be more stringent?
So already we do have, like, if you look at our waste management rules, it is one of the tougher rules around the world. Some of the rules which is there, some of the components of the rule which is there is even I see in developed countries it is a bit relaxed. But what needs to happen more is not, I think we have perfect rules as of now. We can improve upon rules later on. But as of today, rules is not a problem. Even the EPR policies of course, there are room for improvements in EPR policies, but it is still, I will not worry about that much too much. What number one thing that I will worry about is, again, I'll say having proper capacity, intellectual capacity and physical capacity. When I say intellectual capacity, like people working in this sector should know what they are doing. For example, we are talking about waste management. We can have a graduating civil engineer in the country or chemical engineer who has never taken a waste management course. They may had a 1 week kind of overview. And once they start working, you go and talk to many of these ULB engineers, they were never really exposed to waste management training. So we cannot blame them. We say it's very easy to put blame on others. But if you look at the cause, the reason why some of these ULBs are not that equipped in terms of intellectual capacity, in terms of the knowledge capacity, because they were never given the opportunity to learn. So we have to give them opportunity. I say that we should have at least every state should have a waste management training center.
Yes.
Capacity building training center. Every state should have it. If not every state, at least let's start with 4: East, West, North and South. Let's start with 4 zonal waste management training center, where we teach people who are already working in ULBs that what is actually proper waste management, what we say wet and dry. Because see, as a common citizen, if you go and talk to ULB person, that he should be able to give the answers. He should know that what are the technologies out there, what are these things. Unfortunately, many times they don't, and it's not their mistake. The thing is that they are given so many jobs, they're always busy. Municipality people have to wear so many different hats, so they are always busy. And then they never got the opportunity. They were never given the training opportunity. So a lot of, training, unfortunately, what is happening, training means it becomes more of a vacation. Training, we are more worried. Some of this training which do happens in 5-star hotels, some person will come and talk in a nice English. अब वो सामने वाले को अंग्रेजी उतनी नहीं आती और आप अंग्रेजी में बड़ा बड़ा बात बोल के चले गए तो कोई फायदा नहीं है. So we have to bring the training also in the regional language, local language. क्योंकि जो जमीन पे काम कर रहा है, उसको अगर उसके लैंग्वेज में आप नहीं कम्युनिकेट करोगे तो फिर कोई फायदा नहीं है ना. तो आप भले ही बहुत जानते हो, आप कितना भी जानो, लेकिन अगर सामने वाले को आप कन्वे नहीं कर पाए मैसेज, सामने वाले को आप सिखा नहीं पाए, तो आपके नॉलेज का कोई फायदा नहीं है.
True.
So that's why when I go to any of these meetings, I try to tell them, मैं अपने से ही बोलता हूँ कि अगर मैं हिंदी में बोलूँ तो आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं है. Because they may be उनको लगेगा कि इनको बोले कि हिंदी में बोलो. तो शुरू में 2-4 मिनट के बाद ही चेहरे से पता चल जाता है सामने वाला समझ रहा है कि नहीं समझ रहा है. सामने वाला वेट कर रहा है, चाहे टी ब्रेक कब होगा या लंच ब्रेक कब होगा. सो बेटर है कि हम उनके ऐसे लैंग्वेज में बात करें, ऐसे चीजों को थोड़ा सिंप्लीफाई करके बात करें ताकि सामने वाले को समझ में आए बातें. अदरवाइज देयर इज नो पॉइंट हैविंग दिस ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम. 5-स्टार होटल में ठीक है, सब कुछ अच्छा खाना वाना खाया, सबने एंजॉय किया, बट कुछ सीखा नहीं.
Correct.
So, that's where
it's more like a vacation for people.
So that's where go ahead.
What can we as humans fundamentally do to curb the problem of growing waste, like ranking the reduce? If you can't reduce or reuse, at least help recycling.
So as the waste management hierarchy around the world, if you look at any rule from anywhere in the world, they have that, as you said, you try to reduce first, then you go for reuse, then you try to recycle, then we say recover, try to recover in terms of composting, biomethanation, waste to energy, these are recover. And at the end is where our engineered landfill comes in picture, because the kind of different materials that we use, we never have technologies out there which can take care of all the material. For example, if you look at those multi-layered packaging, with those 1 rupees your shampoo sachets and all that.
Right.
It's very difficult to recycle. It's very difficult. It's actually, if you look at the life cycle of that, if you do the environmental footprint calculation, actually it's better not to recycle them, because you end up spending more energy, more water. So there are always some material which cannot be recycled economically and also from an environmentally point of view. So they do need a place like engineered landfill. Of course, that number will be smaller and smaller, but they do need a place. So as a society, as a stuff, again, try to, as we talked earlier, use your own bag, use your own coffee mug, don't use disposable mugs, and try to buy less, buy only what you need. Don't order too much food. Many times just to show off to my friend, that if I've invited my friend, I order 10 items. I know that nobody will waste too much. So that and in fact, there you may have heard some in Sweden or somewhere, there was an Indian like friends, they were having a dinner and they wasted a lot of food. So a Swedish lady came to their, quite old lady came to their table and said that, why you are wasting this food? They said, we have paid for it. I said, you may have paid for it, but this is my country's resource.
Right.
You are wasting my country's resource. So, so when see, you may be paying for that, but you see, if you're disposing food waste, you are actually wasting country's resource.
Correct.
In US and Canada, they have done a study where they have found that a family of 4, on average, waste food items worth more than $1,000 a year.
Oh my God. Okay.
More than $1,000 worth of, and that's what is happening in our upper middle class in India too.
Correct.
1 or 2 bites of apple, maja nahi aaya, phek diya. So it's becoming in our throwaway
culture. Throwaway culture. Yes. Correct.
Even in our hostels, we see that although hostel food sometimes may not be that good, but it's hygienic, less oil, less masala. So still people get Zomato, Swiggy, because parents have a lot of money. They send to their students. They are paying mess bill because that's part of their package.
No hostel
but
pack.
Still they are buying from Zomato, Swiggy. Yeah, we're still buying Zomato, Swiggy, and then that creating waste in the hostel mess. So,
correct.
So those we have to start.
People are not that aware, right? And people are not conscious of wasting resources.
I see that younger generation actually are. That's why if see, when we do source aggregation at home, if I make a mistake, my kids will catch it. They will say, no, this should go there, this should go there. But I don't know what happens to us when we get older. After 20, 25, probably we get stretched by so many different things we have to do. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll tell you, sir, what I remember in my previous building where I used to stay, people were so conscious about, segregating waste, the dry waste and the wet waste. So I remember the ladies in the building used to come for 30 days, every day they used to come, they used to knock the door, they used to come with the kachra wala, the one who picks up the waste in the morning, and they used to actually tell people that aapne na galat dala hai, ye aap mix mat karo. So they did that for a month, and later on when they realized that some people are not segregating it properly, first they gave dustbins to all of them. ठीक है, इसमें wet रखो, इसमें dry रखो. They educated people. The woman took this responsibility, because when you open the door and when you see there is this kachra wala, आप अपना नाक बंद कर दोगे because of the smell. Correct. But these women used to stand beside that person and educate everyone, each and every person, in the building, that you are doing this wrong. You have to segregate it properly. After a month, when people were not doing it, what they did is that they started, telling people that there is a fine. There is a fine. So segregate it properly. For example, I remember my daughter threw chocolate wrapper in the wet waste bin. So they were like, Ravya, you cannot do this. You have to separate it. Next time if we see this, there is a fine. For the medicines also, when you take those medicines and you throw that the wrapper away, right? So correct. So you cannot throw it And they used to compost it in the society building. They had this big machine. They used to compost it. So it was a very
you can use that.
Yeah.
And you can use that compost within your own society area and all that. And
correct.
That's yeah.
It's
so that's exactly what So see that was working because there was a continuous education.
Correct.
Because
they didn't stop on Thursday or second day.
Yeah. That's what it's needed. It's something which needs a lot of reinforcement.
Right.
When I used to live in Auckland, New Zealand, Auckland is one of the craziest city in terms of having proper source segregated waste, because they want to keep it all clean. It's a New Zealand is a tourist destination. They don't want it to be dirty, so they want it to be clean. So Auckland, every Sunday newspaper, on the back of the newspaper there will be a full page description of what is wet waste, what is dry waste, what should go in the recycle bin, why what is happening with this waste. So they keep on reinforcing that.
Correct.
And that's needed, because see, in your apartment complex that you just mentioned, there could be some new tenants.
Right.
There might be some new tenants coming in. Say if it's a university town, like for example, we are in a campus, every year we are getting 2,000 new students. Correct. 2,000 BTechs, 2,000 undergrad, another 2,000 masters. Almost 4,000 new students comes every year. They come from variety of backgrounds, variety of locations. They may not be aware of how we do source segregation here, because there are some local factor also in picture. So that's why again this training is required. We have to keep on educating people. And,
so as you rightly said, there must be new tenants coming every year. So what happened was that the garbage collectors, which were with this woman, they got educated every day. Then they started telling people, madam, आपने ये गलत किया है, आप इसको अलग कीजिए, फिर हम ले जाएंगे, ऐसे नहीं ले जाएंगे कचरा. So that is how things started changing.
So that's what happened. Say if you think that what was happening in your society, if that is replicated in each and every society in the country, things will definitely improve much better, isn't it? So that's how the small things needs to add up. So that's what we need to do. We need to focus on, and then it was source segregated. If your kachra wala was mixing it together, then you will not do the segregation. So that is also, and then the compost will also be bad of your society.
Correct.
Nobody will take that compost.
Correct. So tell me one thing, when we are talking so much about your work and everything, and I would like to know here, what is your greatest achievement till date?
I would say that again, trying to create awareness. One thing which since I started after my PhD, I have been trying to talk to people, making them aware whatever I know in terms of, I consider myself still a student of waste management, because this field is so vast.
Correct.
There are so much dynamic things every day, every other day something new comes, so you have to keep up with that. But see, when to give you from an Indian context, if I give you an example, that when I came back from 2001 until 2015, I was overseas for around 14 years. 2015, I came back to India. And then when I visited ULBs and all these places, and I was involved in some projects, I did find that there is a need for having a lot more people who are actually at least aware of the basics of waste management.
True.
So I started several MOOC like online courses. Government of India has this NPTEL Swayam platform. At that NPTEL Swayam platform, you can find there is a course on integrated waste management. We call it integrated waste management for a smart city. I use the word smart city just to catch the eyeballs. Right. Just to be so that people are getting, at least we see what is there, because the smart city was a buzzword then, even today it is there. So just to catch, although what we are talking in that course is essentially what are the basics of good waste management practices.
Correct.
So that course has probably we are talking today. One of the reasons it could be because of that course. That course has been offered, I think 5 or 6 times. More than 50,000 people have taken this course.
Wonderful.
And I have got I have met people in shopping mall in Kochi, or even at your Abu Dhabi airport. where somebody walked up to me and told me that, oh, you are Professor Dubey. I have taken your course in that online course,
Correct.
and that has helped me a lot. And I get emails too. I get every month on an average, every year I get 10 to 12 emails, once a month email, where somebody appreciating that course. And sometimes mail comes from Africa, sometimes mail is coming, even some PhD students sitting in US, they also send emails. So that gives us a lot of, that's basically gives me the energy. If you think that why I'm passionate about this subject, that gives me the energy. At least
they say there is no better person than Professor Brajesh Dubey into material management. Yeah, so, you're the best person in this industry.
And then, we started a course on life cycle analysis. We have a course on electronic waste management. We have a course on plastic waste management, and there is a basic course on environmental science and engineering as well. So I have 5 online courses happening on NPTEL Swayam platform, and they are very well. Like, they keep on rerunning those courses because they are quite popular. So I would say, as an academic, that gives me a lot of as you asked that what is one of the thing in recent times, I would say that has given me a lot of satisfaction, that yes, this effort is actually helping. And then I have worked with Guwahati city, helping them in terms of development of waste management infrastructure. We did that for Vizag. We have done some work with Kolkata as well, and we are going to presently doing work with Dharamsala. So little bit wherever we see some things coming up, and some other cities as well, we have done some work in the past.
Great.
So this is,
So we have come to end of our session, but quickly we'll have a quiz round. I'll only ask you 3 questions before we leave. Okay. Tell me, which is the most organized and waste-free place you have visited in your lifetime?
Vienna, Austria.
Okay. What's one discarding habit that you want to change?
Wasting too much of paper. Especially since I'm an academic institute, I see that more. So that's why I'm saying that. Yeah.
Okay. And one line message to the manufacturers and consumers of India.
So for manufacturers, when you design a product, look for its recyclability and reuse. Don't design it. Our marketing friends try to make look everything cool. It's okay to have it cool, but not at the cost of its disposal potential, like resource recovery potential. I'll not even say disposal potential. For consumers, try to reduce the waste as much as possible. Try to use your own bag, bring your own bags, use disposable, don't use disposable mugs, carry your own coffee mug, carry your own water bottle. So those things, you may be thinking, the consumer at an individual level might be thinking that usse kya hoga. So actually, if 130 crore people they start doing that, it will bring a lot of impact.
Right. So thank you very much, sir. Thank you for coming to our show, sharing your knowledge, sharing the insights. I think the path to tackle the waste problem in India is a long one, requiring thorough ground research, and we have people like you spreading awareness. So we hope this interview have answered many questions of people in waste management. For more such information, we would like everyone to subscribe Reverse Talk. Thank you again, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It was wonderful talking to you.